What's up, guys? It's your boy Swills here, and today we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and the NFL draft next week. I haven't really done a lot of pre-draft analysis. I haven't even really done any free agency analysis from any team, especially the Atlanta Falcons. I thought I was going to, but sometimes your motivation's not there to make the videos. Plus, they didn't really make any crazy big moves. I thought they made some sneaky good free agent moves. I like Mike Davis. He seems very motivated, and I really like the signing of Deron Harmon. He's a fantastic safety, and I think he's going to be great veteran depth at the safety position, considering we have like no safeties. But just want to quickly talk about the Falcons and what I think they're going to do in this draft. They've got a lot of options. Some fans want them to take a quarterback. Some fans want them to take a Kyle Pitts. Some want them to take an offensive lineman. Some want them to take defense at 4, and some want them to trade down and then take the best player available, especially on defense. So I guess I could walk through briefly all of the options they can take and which one I personally think the one I want them to take versus the one I think they will take. So excuse me. So the first option is for them to take a quarterback at number 4. Now, I personally disagree with this move. I think Matt Ryan is a very good quarterback, and he is an average quarterback in Dirk Cutter's offense. Arthur Smith is going to really open him up for play action. He's going to allow Matt Ryan to make better passes. There's going to be better opportunities. The play calling's much better. It's going to return to similar to what we saw with Kyle Shanahan. So I think Matt Ryan's going to have a resurgence in form next season. I don't think it would be smart to take a quarterback, especially the fact that they locked him up with another restructure. Matt Ryan's going to be around for at least these next 2 seasons. I think it would be silly to take a quarterback because this is a team that is still, in my opinion, in a bit of a win-now situation because you still have so many players like Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. You've got Calvin Ridley still on he's only got a couple years left before his 5th-year option is up. You've got Deion Jones, Grady Jarrett, all these guys making a ton of money, but you don't have to blow it up. You don't. There's still a good chance of succeeding. You just need to hit on these draft picks. So I think if they were to take a quarterback, it would be Fields or Lance. Fields preferably. Lance, the second option. I like them both. I think they're good quarterbacks. Both of them are a bit of project quarterbacks, which I can understand why the Falcons would take them, because they could develop for 2 years and then come in and take the league by storm. I just don't think it's the right move because I still think this is a team that can win, and taking a quarterback here would resign them to a rebuild, basically. So I don't like that move. The second move, excuse me, the second move would be to take an offensive lineman. Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell. There's options. This offensive line is not great. It's not terrible. It's not the worst in the league, but there's a big hole at left guard, and there's a big hole at right tackle. We drafted Caleb McGarry a few years ago. He hasn't panned out. I didn't expect him to pan out. He hasn't been great. We need a right tackle. Now, Jake Matthews has been, I'd say, average to above average. I don't think he needs to be replaced, but Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater are 2 great tackles. We could take one of them and somebody will either move inside to guard, or either of those 2 or Jake Matthews could slide to the other side and play right tackle. I don't know. I feel like this is a very questionable move. It's a high-risk move. Not a lot of high-drafted offensive linemen pan out. It's a big risk, and it's just not a risk I think the Falcons need to take. So I think this would be probably the worst of the decisions because it's a very risky move, and there's not much of a reward for it, to be honest. For an already high-powered offense, an offensive line is not something that you really need at this point. Let's allow Arthur Smith to run some plays, to get his play calling in, and see how the offensive line adapts to that first. So no offensive line for me. The third option is to take a defender, to take somebody on the defense with the 4th pick. And I think it goes without saying, the defense is the biggest problem with this team, and it has been for, I feel like, over a decade. We need help at the edge. We need help in the corner. We need help across the entire back end, safety, cornerback, whatever. Our linebacking core is okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's about average, maybe a little above average if you like Foye Oluokun. I really do. So I would put them a slightly above average linebacking core. We need an edge rusher. Sorely need an edge rusher. The problem is we've taken a lot and none of them have hit. Vic Beasley didn't pan out. Tack McKinley did not pan out at all whatsoever. Marlon Davidson, we took him in the second round last year. He can slide inside. He hardly played. I think it would be a waste to try and reach for an edge rusher this early, and I don't think it's something that Terry Fontenot will do. So I think that is out of the question. As for a cornerback, there are a couple available. The two that I look at are Caleb Farley and Patrick Surtain II. I think these are two great players. I'm just not sure the Falcons would take two corners in the first round 2 years in a row. That's a lot of inexperience on the boundaries. I just think it wouldn't help our situation as much because you're playing two young guys out there. They could get burnt. AJ Terrell was good last year. He was good. He impressed me a lot. Don't get me wrong. But I think I think you need to allow that position group to develop a little bit more. Take somebody like an Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. I think it would be wasteful to take another corner with the first round pick here. I don't think there's any player that's worth taking that high. Maybe Micah Parsons, but even that is a bit of a stretch. I don't think we should take a corner or any defender with the fourth pick, which leads to the next option, which is to trade down and select a defender. I don't have too much of a problem with that as long as we don't go down too far. One potential destination would be Denver at number 9. Denver could trade up. Probably we get another first-round pick on top of number 9, maybe a second as well. That's a very viable option. I'm on board with it as long as we draft a defender with that pick. That would be a good spot to draft Micah Parsons, a Caleb Farley, a Patrick Surtain. I'm on board with that as long as we get a favorable return for that pick. I think trading down all the way to I don't even know, New England, maybe. Anything past 15, in my opinion, is a little bit too far. This team still has needs, and we still need to draft high and get those players that are really good. I wouldn't consider trading down too far because we don't want to miss out on some of the exclusive defensive players. And a draft with a team as far down as New England would require a significant haul in return, and I just don't know if it's something New England would offer, especially with Bill Belichick. They haven't done something like that before, not in recent memory. I don't think it's something they do here. So I think it's a difficult thing for the Falcons to do. I don't see many opportunities in which they will benefit much in the present. If they're trying to rebuild, I understand to trade down, but I believe this is a team that can win now. I wouldn't do it if you're going down too far, which leads to the final option, which is the option which I think makes the most sense, which is to draft Kyle Pitts. Now, hear me out. The Falcons' offense is already pretty loaded. I understand that. But I think Kyle Pitts, it's not just drafting for now. It's not just drafting all the way for the future. You need to take a look at the teams and the players that are on this team right now. You take a look at Julio Jones. He's on a massive contract, and we can get out of that contract in the summer. We can get out of that contract 2 years from now. I think drafting Kyle Pitts would be a direct replacement for either Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley. I'm almost positive he would be a direct replacement for Julio Jones, and Julio Jones would leave the team either next summer or the year after. And I have no doubts about that. That would be the most logical option at this point in time, in my opinion. It's not something I'm 100% on board with, but I think it makes a ton of sense. And I think people are looking at the Falcons drafting Kyle Pitts, a lot of these experts, these mock experts and whatever, they're looking at it as a way to overload the offense with talent, whatever. No, that's not why they would draft Kyle Pitts. They would draft Kyle Pitts so that way they can get out of a Julio Jones contract next summer, send him somewhere off, hopefully get a first-round pick, maybe a second in return next summer. That's what I think the Falcons will do. That is, you can't keep Julio, Ridley, and Kyle Pitts on the same team for more than 2 years because Ridley's fifth-year option is going to be up in 2 years. You're not going to pay two wide receivers max money on top of Kyle Pitts. It's just not going to happen. So I think the Falcons draft Kyle Pitts, and either next year at the end of this season or at the end of the following season down the road, Julio Jones will probably get traded to, whoever for a pick. Now, I hate saying it because Julio Jones is my favorite player. He's one of the reasons why I love the Falcons, but I think it makes a lot of sense because it's going to get us out of a big deal. It's going to get us a lot of cap, and we're going to be able to spend in other ways. And if Kyle Pitts pans out the way a lot of people say he's going to, we're not going to be missing much. Frankly, we're not going to be missing too much. This is a team that thrives offensively, has been one of the best offenses consistently since Matt Ryan's been drafted. That's I think, is the pick to make. I'll be coming out with a full mock draft of the first round soon, probably the day of or the day before the draft next week. But I know there's a lot of Falcons fans that watch the channel. Let me know what you think of my thoughts, and let me know what you think the Falcons should do with the number 4 pick, because there's a ton of options. They're really the wild card in this draft. So like the video as well. Leave a subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, let me know. I'd love to spark a little discussion in the comments down below. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.